His left shoulder, but a spinal specialist did clear him to go. In fact, Dak Prescott has told Dan Mullen he is good. He wants to go if his team needs him. Dan Mullen's a little bit concerned about the fact that he has not been hit in a while, but he said he'll use him if necessary, guys.
Prescott is the future for Mississippi State, but if he can go, what impact does it have on the game?
Well, he is the future because he's going to be everything to this offense moving forward. You think about it, he's big, he's strong, he's physical. We know about Dan Mullen's past with running quarterbacks and what he's able to do. Tonight it's going to start with Damian Williams, though, a true freshman. Did he look good in practice? Sure. Does it matter? No, this is the Egg Bowl. This is a big rivalry. This is huge expectations, a game that you want to come in and win. A lot of pressure. How's the freshman going to start? But if Dak's cleared, you better get some more Dak.
Williams had the game-winning touchdown in overtime against Arkansas last week. This is a guy who didn't plan on playing much this year. Mississippi State's hopes could ride on him tonight. We'll kick it off in the Egg Bowl when you come back.
Visit WatchESPN.com or download the Watch ESPN app to watch ESPN live anytime, anywhere. Brought to you by Vizio.
18.
The new Windows. Tweet your Saturday Superfan photos to College Game Day for a chance to win a trip to a bowl game. AT&T. Rethink possible. And GoPro, the world's most versatile camera. GoPro. Be a hero.
ROTC members from both Ole Miss and Mississippi State run the commemorative game ball all the way from Oxford to Starkville, and that's about 104 miles. And let me tell you, this week was not a great week to be running at night. Not only was it cold, but they had the monsoon-like rains here, some frog stranglers, as we say in the South. But it's cleared up. It's cold tonight. Perfect night for college football. Glad you're spending Thanksgiving evening with us. There is Rebel the Black Bear, Ole Miss's relatively new mascot. Rebels won the toss and deferred. Mississippi State will have it first. Robert Johnson returning the kickoff. Johnson was holding that ball just a tad loosely, and he is knocked down before he gets to the 20-yard line. When Mississippi State has the ball, here is an impact matchup. Gabe Jackson has nasty a left guard, and I mean that in the most complimentary fashion that you'll see, playing on senior night against the freshman sensation, Robert Kimdichie. Kimdichie has had some hamstring problems earlier in the year, but boy, has he lived up to billing, particularly since he's moved inside. And as you watch Kimdichie right now, he at first was lined up right over Jackson. Now he's flip-flopped to the other side. We'll keep an eye on Kimdichie and Jackson in the interior all night. Damian Williams getting the start at quarterback. Ladarius Perkins gets the first run. Good pickup on first down for Perkins. It'll be second down coming up. Here is Williams. He is a 6'1", 215-pound freshman from Metairie, Louisiana. He is a proven winner in high school. He led Archbishop Rummel to his first state championship in a perfect season. Played much more of late than he ever anticipated. He's a dual threat guy, has pretty good arm, make plays with his feet. How will he handle the pressure of a rivalry game tonight? Williams' first pass, a little bit low and incomplete. Third down and 4 coming up.
It's going to be critical tonight for Mississippi State that they're able to run the football. You got a true freshman making his first start rivalry game. You do not want him throwing into third and long situations. That's why they got to run the ball early, set up manageable third downs.
It's going to be critical, too, to see his poise, see how he handles himself. And, you know, I think Dan wants to make sure that you ease him into it a little bit, too. Don't give him too much to chew, too much to bite off, actually, to start the game.
Pressed into service last week, the overtime victory against Arkansas. He hit 3 of his 4 passes and then ran for the touchdown from 25 yards out in overtime. Williams will try it a second time, and this one's complete for a first down. Puts it right on the money to his tight end, Malcolm Johnson.
The best receivers for Mississippi State tonight are their slot receivers, Jamion Lewis and Malcolm Johnson right here in the slot. You're going to be working against a true freshman in Tony Connor in that slot. That's where I think Mississippi State wants to attack tonight in the passing game.
The scouting report on Williams coming out of high school is that when he maintains his mechanics, drives off his back foot, that he has good velocity. And we saw a little bit of that in that throw as Mullen's crew picks up the first down of the evening. Williams throw it again. Another completion, another first down, and making the grab is Darrell Wilson, also a freshman. Mississippi State, a game under 500. Their only conference wins coming against cellar dwellers Kentucky and Arkansas. However, they've been in every game. They just haven't been able to finish games. They were playing tight. They lost to Auburn in the final 15 seconds. Played LSU and Alabama tough into the second half. But Mississippi State's been unable to get over the hump in those big games, and as a result, they're 5-6. Williams kept it on the read option. He was hit in the backfield, so Darius Bryant was the first one there, second and long.
It's going to be so important, too, guys, I think, for Ole Miss defensively. When they have opportunities to make plays in the backfield like they do right here, blitzing two guys off the edge, you got to make them. And they didn't do that in a loss last week against Missouri. When you have the opportunity to make the big play, you got to do it.
Miss is 61.
It's Jackson, the impact matchup player we saw in the open. On Perkins, slips one tackle, but it's going to be a third and long coming up now for Mississippi State.
And Ole Miss's defensive line isn't real big and strong, but they do a lot of stunting and moving. If you watch this play, you see guys all over the screen. You'll see them right there, all taking the gap on the inside real quick, movement, using their athleticism to their advantage because they got some good athletes.
Okay, we had a flag come in. Robert Kimdichie is pleading his case. Mark Pearls is our referee tonight.
There are 2 fouls after the play. Unsportsmanlike conduct, number 66 offense, number 12 defense. Those fouls offset. It's third down.
Ben Beckwith and the freshman Tony Connor exchanging Thanksgiving pleasantries. I told you the pleasant stuff's over now. This is the Egg Bowl, and we're going to have a fist fight, metaphorically speaking, of course.
Well, we got a big third and long now. We talked about how we didn't want the true freshman quarterback in for Mississippi State in these situations. Mississippi State has been very bad in pass protection at both tackle spots.
So State runs it on third and long. Perkins didn't come close to getting the first down. Cody Pruitt stops him. So fourth and long coming for the Bulldogs. Surprised at all, David, by the choice to keep it on the ground there?
Yeah, I think a little bit. Dan Mullen talked about his quarterback and he said Williams can throw it. So I think if you're going to win this ball game, you're going to need to score some points, and you got to trust him. But listen, this defense, it's pretty impressive defense for Mississippi State too. You look at what they did against Alabama. You look at what they did against Auburn. He probably likes his defense as well. So he's going to get him on the field and see what they can do.
Baker Swedenberg has been adept at pinning teams deep, but he almost took too long and got that thing blocked. And State can cover it. If they can cover it, and he could not pin Ole Miss deep, and that is a missed opportunity for Mississippi State. Winston Chapman was down the field trying to down it, and he couldn't do it. Bo Wallace and the Rebels will have the ball for the first time tonight when you come back to Starkville.
Today.
As a family, you have fight. We have finish. We have faith. As a family, we go out there and take this field together. We go get our trophies. We win that back. We go play 60 minutes to go make history. 60 minutes to get one more opportunity as a team to go and play another game after this. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about tonight. Do that together. Grab a hand, grab a hand, grab a hand.
Sound cracks brought to you by Bose. Dan Mullen, final word to his team as they try to win the Golden Egg Trophy tonight and become bowl eligible. Ole Miss has the ball for the first time. Jalen Walton, the speedster at left end, gets about 5. Tevez Calhoun knocks him out, and then there's a little extracurricular along the sideline. Bo Wallace, the Rebel quarterback, 6'4", 209-pound junior from Pulaski, Tennessee. He has greatly improved his decision-making this year, only 6 interceptions. In Bo's words this week, he said, I don't make as many boneheaded decisions as I used to. On 2nd and 5, Rebels back to the ground, back to Walton, will be stopped short for the first down. Third down coming up for Ole Miss. Here are the impact players when the Rebels have the ball. Dante Moncrief absolutely destroyed Mississippi State last year. 3 touchdown catches. You see Treadwell, his running mate out there. State will have to try to stop him, but it's 3 straight runs to start for the Rebels, and it moves the chains. Bernard McKinney on the stop, but not before Ole Miss gets a first down.
And playing at a very fast tempo right now.
Now Wallace is going to throw it for the first time, and what a grab. He almost had it, and then it came out late. Great job just to get a hand on it. There for Ole Miss was Nicholas Parker, the tight end.
Take a look at Parker here outside. Ball thrown a little bit behind him. Looked like he had secured it for a moment, but in the end, I agree with the call. I don't think he ever had possession.
Never really made that football move, and Deontay Skinner knocked it free. Wallace, the throw again, fires high and intercepted. What a tremendous grab by Nico Whitley, and Nico Whitley has more interceptions than any active player in the country, and the first turnover of the night goes the Bulldogs' way.
The one thing I really like about Bo Wallace, he throws every pass with the uttermost conviction, but he's been behind on his first 2 throws, trying to go over the middle. He had a wide open Treadwell on that play, but just thrown behind. Better catch by the free safety.
Reese, didn't you just talk about his decision making?
I did, and so sometimes maybe Bo's not always as self-aware as he ought to be.
Well, guys, I don't think it was a bad decision. I think it was a bad throw.
Physical error rather than a mental one. Nico Whitley with his 15th career interception, his 5th this year.
The ruling on the field of an interception is under further review.
All right. We'll have a look at it, but it appeared to me that Nico Whitley handled that cleanly.
With one call.
Now replay official Doyle Jackson will have the official word when you come back to Davis Wade Stadium. You're watching the SEC on ESPN, and while you're away, the officials announced, ruling on the field confirmed, Nico Whitley with his 15th career interception, more than any other active player, in a tremendous play by Whitley.
Generally, as a quarterback, when you miss that bad, it's because of bad mechanics. Watch how Bo Wallace is falling back. He doesn't step into the throw. That causes the ball to sail on him. That was a tremendous catch by Nico Whitley, and it gives possession back to Mississippi State now at midfield.
Think of the great defensive backs Mississippi State's had the last few years. Darius Slade, Jonathan Banks, and Whitley's been a staple in safety. So Mississippi State with great field position, and Ladarius Perkins headed for the corner, and he picks up about 3 before Mike Hilton knocks him out of bounds.
And if Dak Prescott's going to play, you wonder when he'll get in there because he's cleared. But as long as this game's close, I don't imagine we'll see him because he is being dinged up, and he is the future. So I think you have to be careful with him. But again, Mississippi State's defense plays like they've been playing. You're in the game. I think you keep 15 on the sidelines.
And there, Prescott has really emerged this season. It was thought he would be the backup to Tyler Russell, who is also hurt on his senior night. He couldn't even move his throwing shoulder when he came out for senior night festivities. More on Prescott's injury after this snap to Williams. Damian firing it. Jamian Lewis makes the catch. It'll be a first down for the Bulldogs inside the 35.
Talked about how Mississippi State's receivers are their slot receivers, and Jamian Lewis, a guy tonight that has to get his touches in a lot of different ways. Great job coming back to the football and competing for it. He's a little guy, just 5'9", $195. He plays a lot bigger than his size would indicate. It's a tremendous catch.
Just to wrap up the injury to Prescott, he has a nerve problem in his elbow. It hampers him handing off as much as anything, and they don't want to risk some damage that could carry on into next year or even into the bowl game. Williams pulls it out, throws another completion, and Williams is handling himself quite well. Brandon Holloway making his first catch of the night.
Yeah, Ole Miss's cornerbacks right now are playing with a lot of cushion. And Dan Mullen, as a play caller for Mississippi State, taking advantage of that, giving his young true freshman quarterback easy throws to get him into a rhythm.
And Mullen in his 5th season here, trying to go to his 4th straight bowl game. Balance of power shifted a little bit with Ole Miss's recruiting class and winning this game a year ago. And Mississippi State trying to regain some momentum. Ladarius Perkins knocked down in the backfield by D.T. Shackelford. Shackelford has missed the last 2 seasons with an ACL problem that's making his presence felt here.
You're going to see him out here on the outside. Number 9. We talked about how this defensive line, when they get in the backfield, they have to finish plays. Too many missed sacks, too many missed tackles for losses a week ago against Missouri. That has not been the case tonight. When they've gotten in the backfield of Mississippi State, they're getting these beautiful gold helmets onto the ground.
Like them, huh?
Shining.
Alternate uniforms glowing for the Bulldogs, and they'd like to pick up 7 yards here. They're not going to throw it into reverse as Damian Williams. Isaac Gross was the one back there, and the Bulldogs knocked way out of field goal range as Williams saw the heat coming in, and the feet got a little slippery and tangled.
Well, I mean, his senior running back, too, Ladarius Perkins, could do a better job in blitz pickup right there to give him a little bit more time, but nice play by Gross to get him out of field goal range, like you just said.
So Devin Bell is now in to punt for Mississippi State. Dan Mullen has been known to use a variety of punters and kickers depending on the circumstance. Turnover is not turned into points in Mississippi State. See if the Bulldogs can down this one. Last time they missed an opportunity, this time they do not. And Ole Miss will have to start inside its own 5-yard line. Rebels have the ball about halfway through the first.
ESPN College Football Primetime is served by Applebee's. Applebee's spirited cuisine is back with the new bold entrees prepared by our highly skilled chefs. See you tomorrow. And in part by GMC, introducing the all-new 2014 GMC Sierra. Incredible thinking in the form of a truck.
Here's Hugh Freeze hoisting the golden egg. The trophy that goes to the winner, and some GoPro video on the chesty, they call it. GoPro video as the Egg Bowl trophy comes into Davis-Wade Stadium. Ole Miss owns it right now. Bo Wallace is loose. Wallace gets Ole Miss out of bad field position and gets him up close to the 20-yard line.
He can do that. Again, not a great runner, but he's good. And he can just scramble and escape, and on zone read plays, he's got to have an impact.
Picked up 16. Now a quick pass out to Treadwell, and the freshman across the 25, up close to the 27-yard line.
And if you haven't seen Ole Miss play, that's what they do all the time. You see good quarterback run, and they're going to spit it out on the perimeter quickly and often.
And again, this time Treadwell couldn't hold on. It'll be 3rd and 2. Treadwell leads SEC freshman in catches per game and receiving yards per game, and in touchdowns. He had 5 of them, but should have made that catch. Wallace coming off the field. They bring in their running package, and Barry Brunetti, the quarterback, has been used in a variety of short yardage packages, also letting him throw it a little more often. Brunetti's going to take the snap. He hands it off. Itavius Mathers picking his way. Bulldogs push him back. And the way the officials are running in, it appears they're going to spot it short of the yellow line. Mississippi State comes out of the pile with the football. It's unclear whether the ball is already down. We've seen no indication from the officials it was a fumble. Ole Miss has already
They are going to mark
turned it over once. Yeah, I think they did come in and mark it short, but they didn't mark it. We'll have a look in the middle and see if that ball came out as Mathers. Yeah,
oh,
you know what? That's a fumble.
For sure.
Now the question will be upon video review is whether they can ascertain whether there was an immediate recovery, and if so, who got it. Jamerson Love was the one who came out of the pile with the football, and Ole Miss has already turned it over
right
once.
there. You could see.
The officials standing over the ball right now in Ole Miss.
How about this?
They get a chance to snap this ball, and if they do, they won't be able to review it. 4th and 1, Ole Miss is lined up and going for it. They snap it. They run it. And Robert Kimteche. No, excuse me. I thought they put Kimteche in the backfield. Yes, they did put Kimdichie. I was like, that's way bigger than Atavius Mathers.
So much bigger.
They're both number 5, and I was like, that's way too big to be Mathers. And Kimdichie, who's running on a fake punt this year, gets the short yardage and the first down for Ole Miss. Give it to the big fella again. And Robert Kimdichie's doing his best Miles Jack impersonation right now.
Fighting fire with fire. This Mississippi State front 7 has some big, long, physical creatures. And Ole Miss, not a lot of big running backs, but countering right now with a big 300-pound true freshman trying to establish the line of scrimmage.
Saw him do some of that in high school when he was the nation's #1 recruit as a defensive lineman, but this is a extraordinarily gifted guy, so I can run it too. Now back to the normal-sized running backs and a stutter step and a terrific run from Jalen Walton.
Well, by definition, you say normal size, but I mean,
undersized.
You saw Mathers in there on 3rd and short. He's a $189. Scott's a $162, and Walton is a $166. They don't have a big back, so good for them. They struggle in short yardage. If I'm them, I might put Kimdichie in there in the red zone coming up too to give me a physical presence.
Wait till they get there. You might see it. Walton with a short gain on first down.
You've got to play with great eye discipline if you're Mississippi State with all of these different play fakes, and they're pulling guards, they pump fake receivers. If you don't lock in on the football, the ball gets run right by you, gets thrown over your head, you give up an explosive play.
Well, we saw Kimdichie make a run, and this is another highly touted freshman that Ole Miss has, Laramie Tunsil. He's a starting left tackle, one of only 2 freshmen in the country to be a full-time starting left tackle, and he has exceeded every expectation that the Rebels had for him. You can see he was kind of messing around with the knee brace, and you hope that he just got dinged on that left knee. And Tunsil's going to hobble to the sideline. He has been absolutely terrific, not only because he's so athletic, but because he plays with great technique for a young guy. And this class that Hugh Freeze put together last year, the 5th best class in the country, we've seen all of these guys have an impact already. Treadwell, Tunsil, Kimdichie, and Tony Conner, the defensive back.
It was one of the most talked about things this offseason was signing day, and Ole Miss gaining steam, gaining momentum, getting big-time guys from Alabama, which you didn't really necessarily see in the past. And Hugh Freeze has done a good job by beating one of the big 3 this year in LSU and building more momentum. So Ole Miss is definitely stock up.
Bo Wallace tripped up in the backfield. An excellent play by Matthew Wells to hit Wallace for a loss and bring up 3rd and long.
We've just seen Tunsil leave the game at left tackle. The good news for Ole Miss, they got a lot of different linemen. They like to rotate into the game because of the tempo they play at. Matthew Wells, probably the fastest guy on the field. That's saying something considering he's an outside linebacker that runs into 4.3s in the 40-yard dash.
Cowbells aren't supposed to go when they're over the ball, but hey, noise is noise. It's a great tradition in Starkville. Wallace firing. Got his man is Jamez Logan, and Logan is inside the 20, and Ole Miss is threatening.
There's a lot of height across the board. Big, tall targets for Ole Miss. And Jamez Logan at 6'3", working the middle of the field, finding the soft spot in the zone. Nice target to throw to if you're Bo Wallace.
Picked up 22 on 3rd and 10, and now the Rebs in the red zone. Walton. Stuff. And red zone, David, is where Ole Miss had trouble against Missouri last week.
Yeah, you saw them, one drive they went 99 yards. It didn't score any points, got the field goal blocked, but yeah, it's been methodical. They're not big and physical up front yet, especially the way Hugh Freeze wants to be in the future. It's more about moving people around in space and tempo and kind of getting you out of position. So when they've needed it near the goal line, they haven't been able to punch it in, but put it number 5, maybe that would work, man. The other number 5, the big one.
Big with Kimdichie.
A really big one.
They've moved it 81 yards so far. Wallace firing to the outside is complete, but Moncrief is going to be knocked out of bounds short of the first down.
This is an area of the field, I think, too, David and Reese, that Bo Wallace or whoever's playing quarterback can run the football if they have opportunities. You see Kimdichie coming back on the field. Great scenario and situation for him. We've seen him on 2 back-to-back dive plays earlier. Barry Brunetti's checked in, the West Virginia transfer quarterback who's their running threat.
300 pounds coming downhill at you? You think you want to hit that?
If there was a front seven that was built for it, though, it's this one.
Kimdichie in the backfield and knocked down. And you know who didn't mind seeing him? Mississippi State sensational freshman defensive lineman Chris Jones, who hits Kimdichie for a loss, and fourth down's coming.
And this is all about McKinney, number 50 at middle linebacker, flying in there, watch him take on the fullback, make it go east and west. Don't let the big man come straight downhill. That's why you had an opportunity to tackle him.
How about that? A play that involves the top 2 high school prospects from a year ago. Kimdichie at number 1, Chris Jones, the number 2 overall prospect.
Chris Jones is going to be like, give me the rock. I want to carry it.
Andrew Ritter, who got a field goal block from short range against Missouri, gets it blocked by the upright, and Mississippi State turns away the Rebel threat. How about Chris Jones? After McKinney stuffs the fullback, Jones stuffs his fellow defensive lineman, and then Ritter goes all postal on Thanksgiving night, and we're still scoring. $1:39 remaining in the first quarter from Davis-Wade Stadium in Starkville. Ole Miss just had a terrific drive, came up empty. Field goal hit the left upright of Mississippi State. Been able to take advantage of a turnover in the early going. As you look at the weekend menu brought to you by Applebee's, you have Ohio State, Michigan with the headliner, Alabama and Auburn, winner to the SEC title game.
This is the best weekend in college football. Are you kidding me? With all these rivalry games, bragging rights for an entire year, you can take stats and records, throw them out the window.
Mississippi State keeping it on the ground, and a big hit knocking down Josh Robinson as we check in with Maria Taylor.
Yeah, guys, left tackle Laramie Tunsil, he's questionable to return. He has a left knee injury. They did take the brace off. Look at it a little bit. He's back off the training table now, trying to get back into a groove, a couple of high knees, seeing if he feels comfortable on that knee.
All right, Maria, and we'd like to have the big fella in their left tackle. This is a future star, franchise-type offensive lineman. Very gifted athlete. The coach is saying that even when he makes a mistake, he's so athletic he can often compensate for it. Ashton Shumpert gets the carry for Mississippi State. Not much there. There is a flag down on the field as you see Tunsil walking a bit gingerly on the Ole Miss sideline.
Holding, number 60, offense. Penalties decline, third down.
That's Mississippi State freshman Jamal Claiborne. Call for the hold, but with third and long coming and the young quarterback, you just put him in this situation.
Right. Well, we saw it earlier, right, in the game. 3rd and 12. They didn't throw the football. They just handed it off on a simple zone read. How much confidence does Dan Mullen have in his true freshman quarterback backed up in your own end at this point?
Flag coming. They were trying to set up the screen. Whistles all over the place. Be no play.
Before the snap, false start. All 11 players were never set on the offense. 5-yard penalty, still third down.
Yeah, that's not good.
I don't know that I've heard that too many times. False start, number 7361. They just start naming them all off, all 11 guys.
Well, a lot of that also is on the quarterback, right? As a true freshman, you got to make sure everyone's lined up and set. Again, all these new things for Damian Williams, being in a game-type situation, not just any game, a rivalry game.
Now you're backed up even more. And you already had a safe screen call last possession.
Well, run the option. Williams pitches it beautifully. Running room. And into the open field goes Robinson, and on 3rd and 14, Mississippi State. With Williams running the option to perfection to pick up a 21.
He waits till the very last second, attacking the inside shoulder of the defender before pitching it again. Going after another true freshman, and Tony Connor in the slot. We've seen this true freshman isolated on 2 different situations tonight, critical plays.
Robinson had 101 yards against Arkansas. He has the big run on 3rd down here. We played one in Starkville in the Egg Bowl. We're cooking up a dandy here. 0-0, but Mississippi State just made a play. We'll come back to Starkville for a little leftover. On Thanksgiving night, Mississippi State had to celebrate a couple of days early. You don't want that tryptophan in the turkey making you sleepy in the Egg Bowl. So Mississippi State, the big meal on Tuesday as the Bulldogs celebrated in their spectacular new facility. And Mississippi State picked up a first down on an option run. They have the ball at their own 37-yard line. The freshman Damian Williams at quarterback. Josh Robinson at running back. Glad to have you with us on Thanksgiving night. Williams, plenty of time to throw, fires into traffic. There is a flag down. It was incomplete. Trey Elston was there to break it up. Flag is close to the line of scrimmage. Williams indicating it's on Ole Miss.
Offside, number 9 defense lined up in the neutral zone. 5 yards from the previous spot. Replay first down.
Let's go to the studio and say hello to Chris Cotter.
Reese, Dr. Pepper 10 conference update. The Longhorns still have a shot at the Big 12. Got to get through Texas Tech first. 4th and 17. Ryan Ertzleben takes off from 51 yards out. Remember, his daddy, Russell, was a 3-time All-American at Texas. 7-3 right now. Red Raiders on top, Reese.
Chris, his dad was a rare first-round draft choice as a punter and kicker by the New Orleans Saints when he came out of Texas. Good tough run. Mike Mary making the big hit on Josh Robinson.
You better be tough to bring him down, too, by the way. Yeah. He's built low to the ground, tough. He'll hit you right in the mouth. He's a physical runner. He's good for this offense.
He gets north-south. He's 5'9", 225. So he's like a little bowling ball.
Tackling the tree stuff.
Yeah, Ladarius Perkins got hurt on a touchdown against Arkansas. Josh Robinson had a career day running for over 100 yards in basically just 2 quarters in their last big win against the Razorbacks.
Williams trying to nose his way closer to the first down. He's going to be short. It'll be 3rd and 1. Got a day after Thanksgiving feast for you. Iowa and Nebraska at noon on ABC. Miami and Pitt. And then South Florida against UCF as the Knights try to work their way into the BCS. Control their destiny in the American. Mississippi State is trying to get into any bowl. They need to win tonight in order to get into the postseason. 3rd and 1. Williams pushing ahead. Ole Miss was almost in the neutral zone for a second time on this drive.
Yeah, Reese, you just mentioned what's at stake for Mississippi State tonight, winning this game and getting to a bowl game. But what about, again, establishing the dominance in this rivalry? You'd have won 4 of the last 5 games against Ole Miss if they win this game. And how important is it for them to get to that bowl game? 15 extra practices, you get an extra game heading into 2014, which I think could be a very special year for Mississippi State when you're considering who they have coming back and what their schedule is next year.
Williams almost had an alley, but he's knocked down right at midfield after picking up 2. One of the great rivalries in the sport, Ohio State trying to stay undefeated. Rivalry series presented by GoPro, Ohio State and Michigan, Saturday at noon Eastern time from the Big House. A lot has gone wrong for the Wolverines. Those warts could be covered up, at least temporarily, if they could spoil Ohio State's perfect season and dreams of playing for a national championship.
Make you feel a lot better, wouldn't it?
Maybe not me personally. I have no stake in the hunt, but it certainly made Michigan feel good. And Williams not going to feel good if he doesn't get out of there. But Williams buys a little time and fires it, and it was almost caught and unable to hang on to it at the end was Joe Morrow.
Couple things. Great effort by Damian Williams escaping, but there's an example of Ole Miss's front 7 not finishing a play. You've got this sack right there. You got to bring him down for Isaac Cross. If you're Kimdichie, you got to bring him down. You know, Robert Kimdichie might have missed 2 or 3 sacks against Missouri, and there's a play, an opportunity on a back shoulder throw. Tremendous throw by Williams. You've got to come up with that if you're Morrow.
I like Damian Williams buying time, but he better hold on to that pigskin with 2 hands when somebody's coming to get him. He was just kind of flailing it around. Don't do that the whole game, or else that'll be a big mistake.
Williams fires to the outside, and it's incomplete. He was looking for Lewis. Sir Darius Bryant was over there.
He's basically been the MVP of this defense this year for Ole Miss on that side. He's a guy that loved to get into pressure, but he plays well in space as well. You see Dan Mullen having a little talk with his young true freshman quarterback. There's going to be a lot of coaching going on in this game for Dan Mullen. He's going to have a lot of conversation with his young quarterback, make sure they're on the same page, they're seeing the same thing.
Bulldogs trying to pin the Rebels deep, and as Logan makes the fair catch, toes just inside his own 15-yard line. So scoreless into the second quarter. You're watching the SEC on ESPN from Starkville.
Shoot. Go away.
The squirrels just aren't listening to Dave. No, they don't seem...
You're watching the SEC on ESPN, Davis Wade Stadium in Starkville, Ole Miss and Mississippi State. Rebels have the ball back just inside their own 15-yard line. Bo Wallace is going to run it, and that fake to Itavius Mathers, number 5, is significant because the officials are missing a rules violation. Both Mathers and Robert Kimdichie, who wear number 5, have played the same position. That's against the rules. Rule 1, Section 4, Article 2C, it is supposed to be a live ball foul and a 15-yard penalty, and flagrant offenders are to be ejected. Bo Wallace, meanwhile, complete to Laquan Treadwell. Treadwell gets up close to the 30 and picks up a first down. Now, Mathers is a running back, but Kimdichie was in earlier in the game. And both of them have played the same position. Now, the old rule used to be that as long as you weren't on the field at the same time, it was okay, but they've changed that.
But, Reese, they look so similar. You know, one's 6'5", 300 pounds, and the other one's 5'11", 180. So, I mean, how can you tell the difference?
I want to know what constitutes a flagrant offender.
I think if you keep sneaking them back and forth in there, although to David's point, it might not be sneaking them necessarily if you're doing it. And this may be what Dan Mullen is complaining about, and if so, he is 1,000% correct. We called Dave Kataya, our rules expert, who verified that we were right on this. Mark Curls and his staff looking at it, and I don't know for sure.
Mississippi State has called timeout to challenge that the runner was down. The play is under further review.
He's looking at the last play by
Okay, so Dan's looking at the last play, and we'd have to get some clarity on when you can enforce it, but Mathers has been on the field, and if he were aware of this, he'd probably be bending Mark Curls' ear about moving him back 15 yards.
Yeah, you have a legitimate gripe. I don't know what the Treadwell play was interesting because it didn't look like he looked like he possibly stayed up the whole time and almost still took off and kept running, but I guess somebody needs to get that rule. What was it, Reese? Give me that
it is
section.
Rule 1, Section 4, Article 2C, and if you have your rule book on your iPad, as I do, it's page 21.
Taking a look at
it. His chin is down.
He's down.
Yeah.
Now, the line to make was the 25.
I say, if you're Ole Miss, with respect to the running back situation, we haven't seen Kimdichie play running back very much at all, if at all, this season. So it's a nice.
Saw him on the fake punt.
It's a nice wrinkle to come into the game with, but you do got to take into account, you know, the jersey situation. That's something you need to be aware of, obviously, if you're going to employ that.
Not if you get away with it.
Yeah.
It's not cheating if you're not caught, Reese.
That's right. What's the old saying?
You ain't cheating,
not cheating, not cheating, you're not trying.
This is the Egg Bowl. Been doing this thing since what, 1894?
This is the 110th meeting. We called it the Egg Bowl. Now this is the 86th time as we take another look at Treadwell. Let's see if he. Well, the other issue is not only whether he was down, but whether he gets close to that yellow line anyway, where they would mark.
I thought he was clearly down. Didn't you guys?
Yeah, I think so. He looks down to me. I think the question is where do you spot the ball, and did he get enough for the first down?
The ball was still in his right hand, closer to his knee. Of course, that yellow line is perfect. Remember, shot him with laser beams. And
it's
precise.
It's not infallible, but it is very precise. Mississippi State
Hugh Freeze is like, if we don't get this, we're just going to put it number 5, just run it straight downhill.
And do it at his own risk if somebody's listening to us, huh? It was fun watching Kimdichie run. It's like I'm not trying to rain on that parade, but
it's fun watching Kimdichie run into Chris Jones in the red zone.
It's a lot of beef.
It's a lot of talent.
A lot of future all-SEC honors for those two guys before they finish at their respective schools.
A lot of NFL money.
You know, maybe a little two-way action, too, for Chris Jones. He said this week, with the quarterback problems that Mississippi State has had, he told Mullen, he said, put me in. I could be Cam Newton Jr. Though with some Mississippi State fans, that might strike a nerve a little bit, but I think the sentiment was good from Chris Jones.
I agree. He's a physical freak, similar to Cam Newton. And remember, Coach told us he wears that shirt that says top of the food chain. And we agree, he's not far from it.
After further review, the ruling is the runner's knee was down with the ball short of the 25-yard line. It'll be 3rd and short at that spot. Reset the game clock to 11:44. Mississippi State will not be charged with a timeout, and they retain their challenge.
The reason I like that is because so many times they bail themselves out with false stands. I like it when they reverse it. You can tell. Don't do the stands thing just because you feel like you need to have so much evidence. You can tell he was down.
Ole Miss can make it a bit of a moot point if they can move the ball not even a full yard. It's about a half yard they need to get it to. Right at the 25. Now Mark Curls is trotting back in. After his latest chat with Dan Mullen, now all the officials are in place. Umpire moves away, and we're ready for the 3rd and short snap. Ole Miss will check, and Mississippi State will too. The smaller number 5, Octavius Mathers, hit in the backfield, and what a terrific challenge that turned out to be for Mullen as Bernardrick McKinney hits the man in the backfield, and 4th down's coming for the Rebs.
Bernardrick McKinney, one of those freak shows in the front 7, a 6'5", 245-pound middle linebacker with a 39-inch vertical, playing downhill. No one gets a hat on him. That's an easy stop in the gap. Another good play, but short yardage situation for this D.
Punt is a low line drive. Lewis fields it with his hands, and excellent coverage downfield by Ole Miss. The first guy to hit him down there is Will Martin. But Mississippi State will have it back, a 45-yard punt, 1-yard return. Big 3rd down stop for the Bullies, donning those gold headgears tonight.
ESPN College Football Primetime. Brought to you by Jared, the Gallery of Jewelry. Truly unique designs that you won't find just anywhere. That's why he went to Jared. And Wrangler, real, comfortable jeans, guaranteed.
Thanksgiving delicacy that is fried turkey. You know, Maria Taylor was telling us at our crew dinner last night that her father can cook up a pretty mean fried turkey. She'll be able to enjoy that this weekend with her family. Notice we didn't get an invitation.
Hey, I'm in the Atlanta area. I might go. How about y'all?
Well, let me tell you, after all I've eaten, I'm going to need some more of those real comfortable jeans in a different size if I don't stop it. Damian Williams on the run. He gets up close to the 40-yard line as we go down and check in with Maria.
You guys are more than welcome to come. We got 2 fried turkeys. But I spent some time in Ole Miss's defensive huddle, and D-line coach Chris Kiffin was telling his team they're missing a few plays. They need to attack at the legs, and it'll be over. He also told his defensive tackles that the referees have been complaining that they're close to being offside, so he wanted to make them aware of that, guys.
Got a call once, Maria, and I thought they were fortunate not get a call a second time the previous drive that Mississippi State had. Lead pass, Williams on the short slant. Lewis makes the grab, and the Bulldogs move the chains.
Well, you want to walk that fine line. You want to be as close as you can to the neutral zone, as close as you can to the ball, and make them say something to you so you can get you get that little extra inch or two makes a big difference on the big offensive line.
Well, I think if you notice that as a quarterback, then you got to start using the hard count. If you see this is a defensive line that's antsy, you got to get after that. And again, with a true freshman, Damian Williams, maybe he's not experienced yet to understand how to use the snap count to his advantage.
Perkins. Darius is just maybe the nose of the football in the Ole Miss territory. There's a flag across the way.
Offside, number 55, defense. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay first down.
Maria on point. How about that?
Sometimes those big defensive linemen ought to listen to the coach, right?
Well, especially when you're moving around. You can see him moving around a lot pre-snap, sliding down the line of scrimmage, coming in, coming out. He definitely got the red zone a little bit. It's all right, though. Coaches aren't too mad about that.
So you save it down, plus you move the ball a full yard into Ole Miss territory. So 1st and 5 now for Mississippi State after the penalty.
Nietzsche sliding out to end now, at the bottom of the screen.
They're going to move 5 more free as Ole Miss this time jumps full well, and now Williams squaring off with Isaac Gross. It's a rivalry.
Remember, a lot of these players know each other from their days in high school. A lot of bad blood between each side on the line of scrimmage.
Flag came in late. We'll see if it's going to be offsetting, and I don't know if there's going to be anything other than the jump. It was just a jump offside, but there's more.
Offside, defense jumped to the neutral zone, causing the offense to react. The 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
So we talked about the true freshman using the hard count. Take a listen. It's very impressive, you know, just to kind of have that awareness early in the game. This is a defense that is antsy. They're trying to fire off the ball. Really smart play right there. Smart football by Damian Williams.
And without running a play that counted, Mississippi State gets a first down. 2 offside penalties, has the ball at the Ole Miss 44. Ground, looking for the corner and pulled down. Going for that edge was Ladarius Perkins. DT Shackelford on the stop as we check in with Chris Cotter.
Reese, the Coors Light cold hard facts are the teams are pulling out all the stops at this time of the season. How about Texas here? Case McCoy, they fake, and then Mike Davis gets behind the secondary. 47 yards later, it's 10-3 Horns over the Red Raiders. Early second.
All right, Chris. Keep an eye on that one. This Thanksgiving night, Reese Davis, Jesse Palmer, David Pollock, Maria Taylor. Glad you're spending your Thanksgiving evening with us. Back to Perkins. Perkins makes one guy miss. Strains ahead. And gets it just inside the 40. Watch DT Shackelford, number 9. He's a guy. He makes the play on Ladarius Perkins, who missed the previous 2 seasons with ACL injuries. He already has his degree, and in May, he will have his master's, and he is contemplating trying to get a 6th year of eligibility. When you look for an exemplary type student athlete, you look for a guy like DT Shackelford, who's been very involved in various charities in the Oxford area, and a big part of the Ole Miss defense, and a bigger part on that particular play was Sir Darius Bryant, who threw up the fin, knocked the man down in the backfield, and brought up the 4th down.
You're going to see Bryant. We talked about having always an impact on this defense in coverage, as well as getting pressure in the backfield. That was a very slow mesh between the true freshman quarterback, Damian Williams, and his running back.
And remember, if you see that play, too, Damian Williams is reading the defensive end. They blitz the backer. He comes inside and takes the dive. So Damian Williams, you think he should have pulled it right there, but his read says to give it.
State gets the punt away. Jamez Logan Logan, a very dangerous play, but it turned out to be a very good one to keep the ball from getting even deeper and Ole Miss being pinned. Even Jamez said, I had it all the way. A tremendous play by Bryant on the option, snuffing it out, and so far both defenses have had their way scoreless in Starkville. August 2014, the SEC Network. For more information, go to www.getsecnetwork.com. August 2014, just in time for the next football season. A plethora of sports, not just football, basketball and baseball. All the Olympic sports will be available. Most powerful conference college athletics, the SEC, on the SEC Network. Bo Wallace being chased, and he'll be run out of bounds, and he'll lose a couple. It'll be second down. Now, we told you earlier tonight about Robert Kimdichie coming in and running the ball, and it should have been a 15-yard penalty on Ole Miss because you can't have two players wearing the same number playing the same position, even if they're not in the game at the same time. And the referee, Mark Pearls, and we read the lips, and appeared that he explained it to Hugh Freeze, and maybe Hugh even acknowledged, okay, you got me. So unless somebody changes the jersey number, and that ball is picked into the air and intercepted. Richie Brown, and he fumbled it. Now Ole Miss might have gotten it back. But Juan Treadwell came out of there with the ball. Dueling turnovers, maybe. And if Ole Miss got that ball back, what a huge break for the Rebels.
What a heads-up play by Treadwell.
Fumbled and recovered again by Ole Miss. It'll be their ball, first and 10.
Oh, wow. One thing I think Mississippi State does a really good job of on defense is bat balls down. This play got tipped and deflected at the beginning, and it was picked. You see right there, the true freshman Treadwell ripping that football out, headsy play and getting it back.
Especially considering receivers, they don't do ball drills like that. DBs, you do it every single day.
The ruling on the field is being under further review.
That's just a guy that understands football, understands the game, reaches in there and makes a big-time play.
What a fortuitous turn of events, assuming that this call stands. Brown was trying to put it away, but it's hard to see his knee, but it appeared that he was still up easily before he fumbled it. Let's have a look. There's the tip.
Chris Jones coming through.
Boy.
Yep, getting the tip.
Another play by
which leads
Jones.
to the pick. And there you go. You got this true freshman receiver that's 6'3", 215 pounds, extremely strong. And that defender had two hands on the football. He just reaches in and wants it more.
And he gets down there
and picks it up.
right off his leg and says, that's mine. And then he tries to pick it up and take it the other way, but his knee was down.
Terrific play by
That's not coaching.
Standout freshman.
You know what that is? That's recruiting. That's getting a great player.
Okay, now let's take a look at what the replay booth is watching just to see whether Brown is down.
He's definitely up.
Nope, he's up.
Nope. I mean, the ball's right there. You can see it.
Yeah, and he's not down yet. There the hip hits.
I mean, so instead of getting the ball at the 5-yard line with a chance to get your true freshman quarterback some looks in the red zone and possibly go up, now your talented recruit that you got a year ago just bailed you out and got you another chance.
This possession starts all over again. Yeah. First down.
You got a first down for that.
New attitude on life coming out.
All is good.
After further review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. First down.
Treadwell is known for his strong hands, and he put them to work. What a deflating moment for Richie Brown, who thought he'd made a game-changing play. And 2 turnovers for Ole Miss, now 1 for Mississippi State, the last 2 coming on the same play. Well, we've had a defensive freshman have a big play in the running game with Kimdichie, albeit against the rules, and then a freshman receiver make a big play on defense. Brunetti's in the game, and the proper number 5 at running back, Itavius Mathers, carries it.
You know, a guy whose number we haven't called a lot so far tonight is Dante Moncrief for Ole Miss. And while Treadwell does lead the team in receptions, it's because he catches a lot of bubble screens. The best player on the field on the perimeter is that guy right there, number 12. They got to find a way to get him the football more.
He had 7 catches, 173 yards, and 3 touchdowns in this game last year. ahead of Walton. It'll be 3rd down and 7. Maria, what do you got on the number game?
Got your update on the 5s. Now, Hugh Freeze has been made aware by the referees that they cannot both wear 5 and play on offense. They're trying to make a decision on whether or not someone will change numbers here so that they can both still play offense.
All right, Maria, see what happens in recruiting when you promise everybody a single-digit number.
Or you promise a big-time recruit to give him the ball a couple times? That's not bad.
Well,
hey, you promise a lot of defensive linemen that, they'll be coming.
Make Octavius change numbers if it has to do with whether Kandici's going to come. 3rd and 7. Wallace firing, complete. Got enough for the 1st down out to Vince Sanders.
And I tell you what, we saw Perkins earlier struggle to pick up the blitz. Look at little number 6 right there. Walton pick up that blitz. He's only 166 pounds. Goes in there, does a great job of giving Bo Wallace an extra second or 2 to make that throw.
Wallace going back to work, being rushed and sacked. Football's loose. Chris Jones was back there again, and Chris Jones is wreaking havoc.
Chris Jones is the best defensive lineman they have. Only a true freshman. You'll see him in here inside, number 96. He just rolls Justin Bell right over. Gets the play. A little trash talk with the land shark symbol after he makes that sack.
Wallace has to get rid of it in a hurry, and he does. A little bit of running room for Walton as he gets out to the 15. Will Redmond on the stop.
And that guy's going to be so special. I mean, he wasn't talked about as much, but you talk about a big dude, 6'5", 305-pound freshman. And that last play, too, you're starting to see more technique from him, using his hands instead of just running right down the middle of people, picking them up, making big-time plays. I think Kandici's good. He's going to be pretty good himself.
I think Jones was asking to come out, and Mullen did the right thing, told him no.
Get back in there. 3rd down. We need you.
They need Dante Moncrief to touch the football.
Wallace running out of time. Throws it in. Did he get a foot down? What a grab. They're calling it an interception. Justin Cox.
He definitely jumps up over Dante Moncrief and catches the football in his left foot. Looks like it came down in bounds.
This defense has done an unbelievable job getting takeaways here in recent weeks. Remember they had 4 against Alabama a few weeks ago? This is just who wants it more right here. He goes up, high points it. When is that hand touch outside?
No.
I think his foot came down first. That's a catch. That's just, he's going over a receiver that's 6'3", 226 pounds.
Yes, sir.
Left foot comes down.
The hand's still up, too, as you see. It appears.
See the ball? It's good.
Yeah,
I think that's a good catch.
Possession. Wow.
And again,
what a play.
Awesome effort trying to get Moncrief the ball. Bo Wallace making another bad decision, though, trying to run to his right, throw the football across his body. Doesn't put enough air on it.
Wallace has now thrown 3 picks. He only had 6 entering the game. Now Williams going to try to take a shot, throwing it. That one may be intercepted and then almost caught. Trey Elston almost picked it and it almost fell in the lap of Jamian Lewis.
Sudden change. Love the idea by Dan Mullen trying to take a shot deep downfield off of play action to your best wide receiver here in a double move in the slot. This is a good job by the defender, Trey Elston, going up and fighting for it. Now, if you're Mississippi State, you've got to come away with points right here. You've already got 3 takeaways and you've got nothing to show for it.
No, I'm running the football every single time, trying to get my guy a little bit closer and kick a field goal, because at this point your defense is playing so great.
Option. Williams keeps it. Williams inside the 20, still on his feet, and the freshman rumbles down to about the 13. It'll be 1st and 10.
He's a different looking runner than a Dak Prescott. He's not as explosive, but at 230 pounds, he is a load. And again, on the option, you've seen them have success with this. Nice little sleight of hand, good balance, and you see rumbling, stumbling through this Ole Miss D.
Is that Chris Relf?
Looks a lot like
Doesn't he look like, he looks spot on. Wasn't Chris Relf 14? I mean,
was, yes.
Everything about that looks like, you know, I wonder moving forward throughout this game, how many times do you want to run it? You don't know if Dak's healthy. You got to win, but he's taking a lot of shots. You can't afford to lose a quarterback.
Williams kept it, pushed his way inside the 10. Headed down toward the 3-minute mark in the first half. It hasn't been the sharpest game on either side. Bo Wallace particularly has struggled with turnovers. A spectacular interception on the last possession by that man, Justin Cox, has set up Mississippi State with the opportunity to get the first score of the night.
Now, in this area of the field all season, when there's a play that needs to be had, if they're throwing it, it's Jamion Lewis, number 4 in the slot right now. That's the guy they look for right up top here when they throw.
Williams, he can run with it. He might be able to get in the end zone if he turns it up quickly enough. He does not. But he has enough for the first down. It'll be 1st and goal for Mississippi State.
And Dan Mullen dialing up some play calls. Watch Gabe Jackson, 61 pull. This looks like a run play all the way. Does a great job pulling the ball down, making a play with his feet that we've seen time and time again. But that's the greatness of Dan Mullen, I think. Doing a great job of mixing it up, run and pass with his freshman quarterback.
Here you are. You got a 230-pound quarterback. Put him in the gun, QB power.
Who are you running behind?
Gabe Jackson.
Run behind 61.
Straight eye backfield. Gives to Robinson. Robinson stops. 2nd and goal coming.
That's not bad.
Now a flag comes in late. I know this thing's a little bit testy. This is not the area of the field you need to give up yards in either direction.
I think it's going to be on Kim Deachy. A little extracurricular activity after the play. Just got to be able to keep your poise. You know, these young players. You'll see here, number 5.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 5 defense. Half the distance to the goal, automatic first down.
Tell you what, that was close to being a punch. I mean, you get caught throwing a punch to the face, and you won't have to worry about playing running back anymore. You won't be playing period.
Well, and now you don't have your best defensive lineman on the field in a critical situation. And you can see his position coach letting him know.
And oh, by the way, he basically gave him a free play. This is now 1st and goal again instead of 2nd and goal.
Guess where this is going?
I'd run it behind
Same
61.
play.
They do. And they go in. Touchdown, Josh Robinson. Kim Deachy being talked to by his brother on the sideline, Denzel, as we watch Gabe Jackson clear the way.
Look at Gabe Jackson doing work. 340 pounds, putting his guy 4 yards in the backfield. That's why you run it behind your left guard, the big fella, creating plenty of room.
Mullen having a word for Robinson, who threw up the Ole Miss fin signal. Trying to cut down on the extracurriculars, and the turnover turns into a touchdown. And the Bulldogs trying to become bowl eligible. They've got the home crowd on their side. They've got momentum on their side, and they have the lead.
The bad guys are trying to conquer the earth. The good guys are trying to save it. Now let's get to work.
And Josh Robinson, who just scored the touchdown for Mississippi State. First score of the night. It came after the Rebels' 3rd turnover of the first half. Robinson threw up that land shark fin, got an earful from Dan Mullen as he came back to the sideline. His joints jumping, cowbells are ringing. They're playing on Thanksgiving night for the first time in 10 years. 96 seconds remaining, a short kickoff. Jalen Walton. Walton close to the 30-yard line, and that's where the Rebels will have it with 90 seconds remaining in the first half.
Well, some undisciplined play by Ole Miss here at the end of the 2nd quarter. It starts with the interception by Bo Wallace trying to force a football to Dante Moncrief on the sidelines. A great pick by Mississippi State. Then undisciplined play after the play's over by Kim Deachy, giving a fresh set of downs on the 1-yard line. Josh Robinson's able to capitalize on it.
You could see Chris Kiffin, defensive line coach, talking to Kim Deachy on the sideline. He appeared to be telling him it was a selfish play. As it turned out, it only gave Mississippi State one more play, and the way Gabe Jackson caved in that side, they probably would have scored anyway. Bo Wallace, who's had a rough first half, completes it to Logan for the first down as we check in quickly with Maria.
Yeah, Chris Kiffin was right in the ear of Kimdichie saying selfish. That was selfish right after the play and the unsportsmanlike conduct.
And Kimdichie, and there it is. You take the look at the replay as Walton catches the swing pass from Wallace. Deontay Skinner pushes him out of bounds.
I've been impressed with Mississippi State's defense from a scheme standpoint, guys. We remember seeing them earlier this year. They were aggressive. They were blitzing, playing man-to-man coverage. In tonight's game, playing big, soft zone coverages, letting them get pressure with 4 guys up front, keeping the football in front of them, not giving up explosive plays. It's what they did when they held Alabama to a season-low 20 points.
Wallace buying some time. And Treadwell, man, oh man, there's some freshman talent on this field. A terrific catch by Treadwell, who saved another issue when he ripped away a ball from Richie Brown after he had intercepted a Bo Wallace pass and turned it into a fumble. Those hands are pretty good. See if they use them on 3rd and 6. Wallace has to get rid of it. Walton can't handle it. And it'll be 4th down. Clock stopped with a minute to go.
I think a reason why Mississippi State's been able to play these big zones, they're getting pressure with 3 and 4 guys up front. Now that last play was virtually a screen, so they let them through. But Chris Jones, we've seen this front 7 for Mississippi State get pressure on Bo Wallace and make life very, very difficult.
And let's not forget, too, Ole Miss early in this game lost its left tackle and its most talented offensive lineman, Larry Tunsil. Punt gets away. Lewis catches the thing like an outfielder. They'll have it on the 7-yard line. Don't forget, you got college football coming your way this weekend on ESPN. Johnny Manziel taking on Missouri. If Missouri wins, they go to the SEC championship game. Then on ABC in prime time, the battle for the victory bell. Former Ole Miss head coach Ed Orgeron's done a terrific job on an interim basis for the Trojans. Hundley has been, UCLA's been struggling with injuries up front. You'll see that game on ABC. And Johnny Manziel, a finalist for the 2013 Davey O'Brien Award. You'll see the College Football Awards Show brought to you by the Home Depot. Tune in, ESPNU, December 12th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time to see if John Football takes home that trophy. Mississippi State is wanting to protect the ball, one would think. Williams, short game, and DT Shackelford is down. Shackelford has made some good plays in the first half. We told you his story earlier. He's missed a couple of years with knee injuries, but now DT appears to be getting around in pretty good order.
Reese, you just mentioned Mississippi State and what their mindset should be right now at the end of the half with a true freshman quarterback, Damian Williams, what the play calling should be. I think if Tyler Russell's on the field, I think if Dak Prescott's on the field with 3 timeouts, you might want to think about being more aggressive. Got to be very careful with Williams under center.
He's been carrying the ball a little loosely, too. 40 seconds remaining in the half.
This is the Quicksilver Cashback Card from Capital One.
Police Thanksgiving night, Mississippi State with a 7-0 lead on Ole Miss. Rebels got a timeout called with 44 seconds remaining in the half. Freeze trying perhaps to get his team in position to get the football back and put something on the board before they go to the locker room. It's a 2nd and 9 for the freshman quarterback, Damian Williams. If you're just joining us, Dak Prescott is dressed, not expected to play. He's been cleared to play, but he has a nerve problem. They'd like to go with Williams. Tyler Russell not available. Kimdichie in the backfield, and Robert Kimdichie, who's had sort of an up and down first half, has the sack. That is his first sack against an SEC opponent this year. Won't be his last. Another timeout's called.
Hey, get used to seeing him at 3 technique. I think that's where you're going to see him in the future. He can control and dominate games from the inside with his quickness and size and strength. And you see it right there. It was just a back block by the guard. He couldn't even get to him in time. He was so quick off the ball.
So he came in, many people believed as a defensive end, but you believe that he'll be far more effective long-term playing further inside?
Well, I think when you're recruiting a young man and he tells you he wants to play defensive end, you tell him you're going to play defensive end. But as this season has progressed, you've seen him more and more inside. I think he can dominate football games on the inside. 3 technique. I don't think he's super twitched up for the defensive end spot or necessarily has the hips to play defensive end. But inside, he could be great.
I think we've started seeing recently just how good he is. He's taken games over here in recent weeks. Now, he hasn't always been a finisher. He wins his one-on-ones up front more often than not. I think for him, it's being disciplined finishing plays. I think he's really been disappointed with himself this year. He's expected better numbers, better stats, and certainly he's had an opportunity to do that. But you got to remember, he's only a true freshman. His learning curve is only going to go up. This is a guy that's going to be a big-time player here at Ole Miss for years.
Another year in the weight room, get bigger, get stronger. That's the thing, he's already 300.
Scary thought, he already is big and strong. Williams looks back there, and he's hit by Shackelford. Good to see him back in the game. Williams, yeah, that's every Mississippi State fan is thinking now with the injury problems they've had at quarterback when Williams was lying there momentarily, but Damien's up and appears to be okay.
And the reason I think he took that big shot because he was smart enough to know he didn't want to run too far to the sideline. He kind of pulled up. This is a lot of beef with Shackelford falling on top of him. That's
Darius Bryant's on top as
Bryant's
well.
on top.
Isaac Gross gets involved.
Gross gets on top too. Ooh.
Okay, so Ole Miss uses his final timeout. We've got 31 seconds left. Ball spotted on the 2-yard line, so Mississippi State not going to have a lot of room to punt. Set up a return here, try to put yourself in good scoring position rather than going for the block, I would assume.
I think so. And you're just trying to kind of, again, I think if you're Ole Miss, find momentum heading in at halftime here. Try to generate points. Certainly you've turned the football over 3 times, but you don't take your foot off the gas. You've got a quarterback that's made good decisions the majority of the season. You put the ball back in his hands and give your offense an opportunity.
Baker Swedenberg has to be careful not to step out of the back of the end zone. Jamez Logan is inside the Mississippi State 40. He hit the punt. Swedenberg blocked it. It got blocked, and Ole Miss recovers it for a touchdown. Terrell Grant. Swedenberg had trouble handling the snap, and the Rebels got through. And Collins Moore was in there, and Ole Miss makes a huge play, and the timeouts and the clock management by Hugh Freeze pays off in large part because of the trouble handling the snap.
It takes way too long to get this ball out. 2 seconds, .22. That's just way too much backed up in your own end. You've got to find a way anyway to get that ball out of your end zone. It's got to get kicked.
A catastrophic turn of events for Mississippi State. And in a first half filled with errors, many of them made by the Rebels. In fact, most of them made by the Rebels. A terrible mistake on special teams by the Bulldogs. Let's Ole Miss tie it.
And it's special teams in this game. It really had a big impact, right? We got Mississippi State downing a punt inside the 5-yard line. Ole Miss misses a field goal. And here's the block inside. You've just got to get that ball. You got to get it out. Nice job of getting the block. Great job falling on top of it as well.
Well, the whole problem was mishandling the snap.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't pick up Collins Moore. It didn't impede his progress very much. But Swedenberg perhaps still gets it out if not for that. Moore was there to swallow it up. And there to cover it was Terrell Grant.
The one thing I'll say about that, Reese, in that situation, I think you got to stay longer. It's a shorter snap because you're backed up on the one. You don't get the proper depth. Otherwise, your punter would be out of the back of the end zone. You got to block a little bit longer and make sure you hang in there and not let guys run free. You can do that a lot of times in the middle of the field, but you can't do that backed up with a short snap.
So the momentum, which seemed to be decidedly in Mississippi State's favor, swings back Ole Miss's way in the final half minute of the first half.
Saw that last week too. Rutgers in Central Florida right at the end of the half for a touchdown.
26 seconds remaining. Ritter puts a toe to it. It'll be a touchback. Bulldogs will have it on the 25.
That's big too, guys, because Ole Miss is going to get the football back here first in the second half. So to generate those points, get that momentum heading into halftime, and have an opportunity to come out with the ball first, that's huge.
With the juices, the good juices going now, positive stuff.
Well, it looks
Forget
like
about the personal fouls and the mistakes and the turnovers, and now come out and try to play a better half like you played this whole season, especially offensively. They need to play better.
Well, you couldn't have played worse offensively if you're Ole Miss. That's the good news. I think if you go in, you kind of say, okay, basically we just gave them the ball 3 times on takeaways. Let's go out and execute. We win this game.
Williams take a knee. Bulldogs are going to take it to the locker room. Bo Wallace threw 3 picks.
Back foot right there. Tip ball, that's hard to control. That's not necessarily his fault. Look at running to his right. Just throws up a wounded duck right there. Gets picked off by Cox in a nice play.
That was the one that turned into the touchdown. The second interception actually was a fumble by Mississippi State after the interception, as we go down to Maria and Hugh Freeze.
Coach, a lot of extracurricular activities. It's a rivalry game. What were you just telling Robert Kimdichie as he came off the field?
You got to mature. You can't, all the shoving after the play and stuff has got to stop. That's not who we are. It's not who we want to be about. And he's just a young kid, but he's playing hard for us. Our defense has played really well. Offense has been both.
Yeah, that's my kind of night. That's my kind of night. Yeah, that's my kind of night.
ESPN's college football primetime, served by Applebee's, just about set to start the second half from Davis Wade Stadium in Starkville. A cold night in the SEC. Ole Miss and Mississippi State, a first half that featured 4 turnovers and a blocked punt. And still somehow it was exhilarating as we check out the Home Depot coaching adjustments.
Ole Miss quarterback Bo Wallace has done so well taking care of the football this year. It wasn't the case in the first half. 3 interceptions. This one gets tipped by Chris Jones. The 3rd interception was really his worst decision, trying to force a throw to Dante Moncrief in the second half. You have to be able to take care of the football. You cannot give Mississippi State a short field.
And remember, Damian Williams, the 3rd-string quarterback, true freshman, coming in trying to give him a spark. You saw 3rd and long running the speed option, making plays with his feet has been the most impressive part. Taking care of the football, showed some poise, made some throws when he needed to. But I think we're going to see more running the football with him in the second half for this Mississippi State offense.
Wallace had that miserable first half as Hugh Freeze went to the locker room. He told our Maria Taylor it was the worst half Bo Wallace had played. Williams has acquitted himself well for a freshman with limited experience and just about set to start. Ole Miss will get it first to start the second half. Reese Davis, Jesse Palmer, David Pollock, and Maria Taylor, glad to have you with us on Thanksgiving night. Hope you're enjoying some leftovers and some terrific rivalry football. The battle for the golden egg here in the SEC. Kickoff drives Walton deep, and he has great speed. Gets across the 30. There is a flag that comes flying in on the return, and we had a first half full of extracurricular activities. Guys are separated relatively quickly as we see what the initial flag is going to be. Probably a hold or an illegal block. Typically is the call on a return, and the flag flying in that nature.
During the return, holding number 24 return team. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
So Rebels will back up. We go down to Maria.
I checked in with Dan Mullen to ask how he felt about his freshman quarterback starting in his first collegiate game. He said he's been a cool customer. The moment's not been too big for him. In fact, he plans on opening the playbook up a little bit more because of the way he's handled the first half. He said his team has to continue to make plays the way that they did in the first half, but he told him to go out and make history, get a 4th straight bowl game, guys.
Wallace to Laquan Treadwell to start the second half, and Laquan is knocked out of bounds just short of the 20.
Ole Miss offensively here in the second half, aside from Bo Wallace not throwing picks, they got to get back to running the football. Robert Kimdichie is their leading rusher right now. That's a problem.
By the way, we'll update Numbergate in just a moment on that. The number 5 on offense, Itavius Mathers, picks up a couple. And as we pointed out in the first half, Kimdichie came in to run some plays at running back. He also wears number 5. For the second half, we've been told he will switch to number 99. Normally a defensive lineman, but Kondichi was effective running the football in the first half. He's not on the field. Jalen Walton is on a 3rd and 3. That's Walton coming in motion at the bottom of your screen. To the outside, Jamez Logan, first down, still on his feet. And the Rebels will be able to move the chains.
I like the idea in the play call for Ole Miss, going in an empty set, making the read very easy for Bo Wallace. This is just one-on-one, isolated, the entire right side of the field. Jamison Love, a cornerback, against a much bigger Jamez Logan.
Treadwell across the 40.
And this is what I'm used to seeing from Ole Miss offense. The quick passing game, the quick throws to Treadwell. This is what they've done so well all season. And they got away from it in the first half. I think this is what Bo Wallace needs more of, is that rhythm, quick timing passing game.
Back to the ground. First down, Walton. Walton's not the biggest guy in the world. And he's slammed backwards by Bernardrick McKinney. As I told you, Kondichi has switched jerseys. There was talk during halftime in the press box, as you see Robert wearing number 99. They didn't know if they had another jersey big enough for him to have him switch, but apparently they found one.
No name on the back, but
you know who he is.
He's not liking it, though. The swag meter goes down. You know, that number 5, single digit, looks so sweet.
Another quick pass and quick completion grabbed by Vince Sanders.
He just doesn't look as athletic and as quick.
I know,
he's not wearing that single digit. It just looks different.
Hey, fellas, wait till he gets on the field. He'll look just fine. He can wear number 132, and he's pretty good. Out into the flat, stumbling, getting close to the first down is Jordan Holder.
David, to your point, I like what they're doing with the quick throws. I think to counter that defensively, Mississippi State, you're going to have to get up close, get more physical.
More man. You talked about them playing zone and then getting away with it.
Just going to have to challenge these guys a little bit more and take these throws away if this is what Ole Miss wants to do in the short passing game.
3rd down and 1. Bo Wallace, quarterback sneak. Good surge in the front. Appears to have plenty for the first down.
They didn't need number 99 yet, huh?
Not yet. Saving him as a special weapon, perhaps. P.J. Jones is the Mississippi State defensive lineman who's having trouble getting off the field. Mississippi State training staff out to have a look at the 295-pound junior from Tupelo. You can get close to all the action wherever you are with the new SportsCenter app. Blazing fast scores, hottest news and highlights, analysis, access to your favorite SportsCenter talent 24/7 via Twitter. Download the new SportsCenter app simply by calling *SC from your phone. Terrific app, great interface, everything you want right at your fingertips. As we see P.J. Jones walking with a limp. This rivalry game wants to stay on the field, and we'll see if he's able to get back. There is Laramie Tunsil, who did come back at times after being nicked up in the first half. He's the offensive tackle, but he's not on the field at the moment. Bo Wallace. Wallace has it batted down. He threw it right into the gut of Chris Jones again. Chris Jones deflected one that was intercepted in the first half, and he batted this one down.
Tremendous patience by this defense here. We talked about them playing big zones. They don't bite on the play fake. They don't bite on the option. Nobody open downfield to throw for if you're Bo Wallace. So he's forced to check the ball down, guys. I think in situations like that, Bo Wallace has to be willing to get north, get what he can get. Again, he's a good runner. And in a big win earlier against LSU, he made some big scrambles.
Wallace firing to the outside. Walton has it. Walton takes a big hit, knocked down immediately by Matthew Wells. But Matthew appears to have taken the worst of it. He's slow to get up.
That is not a guy they can afford to lose. This game is tailor-made for his skill set because of the speed he has playing in the slot against an offense that likes to throw as many bubble screens as they do.
And I don't know if he got dinged on his helmet, but you watch him break on the football. Remember, that's a linebacker. Be able to come across and make a play. Looked like he helmet to helmet a little bit. I know I've rung my bell a lot of times doing something like that. Look at the Wallace throws a little bit behind his receiver, doesn't give him an opportunity to really run with it.
But again, he's the fastest guy in the field, and that's amazing. I mean, you got a guy
Fast Friday?
Yeah, they call him the cheetah. He's been clocked in the 4.3 range in the 40-yard dash against an offense that has so much speed and really a lot of playmakers across the board, a wide receiver and a running back.
They do they take like the 12 fastest guy on Friday and do Fast Friday, and this week he smoked everybody. Talk about 215-pound guys smoking them little corners and running backs and everybody on special teams.
The 3rd and 9. Backward pass. Treadwell wants to throw it back to Wallace, and he does. And Wallace has a convoy in front of him. Bo has a first down, still on his feet, and Wallace takes a big hit and is shoved out of bounds by Tevez Calhoun. Little trickery gets Ole Miss.
I love the fact they got the play called quickly before it looked like Mississippi State's secondary was even really aligned. This whole play happened before they could even blink, and there's those offensive linemen, those big bodies downfield.
So on the 3rd and 9, the conversion from Ole Miss. Wallace firing to the outside. Treadwell, another short catch. Treadwell turning the corner down close to the 20. And Jamerson Love runs him out of bounds.
And all these quick passes on the outside is going to start to pull some of those linebackers out of the box a little bit so they can find some running room, because right now they don't have it. They haven't been able to establish the running game.
Ole Miss has run for 61 yards tonight. This time they jumped that quick pass, and Wallace pulled it down, makes a little something out of nothing, and gets close to the first down marker before Deontay Skinner corrals him.
But to David, to your point, it's sneaky. It doesn't look great when he's when he's toting the rock, but he gets it done. Now remember, guys, back in the red zone where Ole Miss has struggled at times this year. A loss against Bama, against Missouri, 3 possessions, came away with only 3 points. They've got to execute better in this area of the field.
Wallace picked up the first down. Treadwell looking for running room. Treadwell just tripped up, or he might have had a chance to score. Calhoun on the stop. 2nd down coming.
Bo Wallace is the guy at the YMCA with the high socks, the short shorts, that comes in and just starts raining threes that can get streaky hot. You know, he doesn't look like much all the time, but he's effective. He's one of the more fun guys to watch play the quarterback position. He's got an edge to him when he runs too. And this is the area where he needs to be a physical runner.
He's getting Justin Bell, his right guard, straightened out. Wallace lofts it, and that was almost intercepted. Calhoun coming over the top of Jamez Logan.
I don't think Jamez Logan thought the ball was coming his way. You're going to see here a little fake. They pull lineman. Everything in this play shows run. There's a little fade, but look at Logan. He's not even turning around to look at his quarterback on the fade.
Well, everybody blocked run up front, too, so I think he thought it was a run. Didn't even know the ball was coming his way.
3rd down and 5.
That's what's so hard about this offense when you do that stuff. It is a run play, but he just pulls it when he sees something and tries to make a pass.
Wallace running, breaks a tackle. He's going to be short of the first down. He needed to get to the 4.
You're going to see number 99 now? Or you got to kick it? You got to kick it, don't you?
Take the points. No doubt.
Hugh Freeze is sending the field goal unit onto the field. Remember earlier tonight, Ole Miss had a long drive. And the kicker, Andrew Ritter, hit the upright. Now to give the Rebels the lead for the first time tonight from 22 yards out. Ritter. Oof. Wow. It was like a line drive back through the middle of the infield, but it was effective, and Ole Miss has the lead for the first time tonight. Opening drive in the second half results in points for the Rebels. And in the Egg Bowl, Ole Miss takes a 10-7 lead. Eastern time, 9 on the West Coast from the Big House. Thanks to Miller and Devin Gardner. And courtesy of Go Blue TV, you see the Wolverines enjoying a big Thanksgiving meal today, one that they hope is a precursor to a victorious weekend, one that would cure a lot of the ills for Brady Hoke's team. They have really struggled down the gut of the season to finish games, to take care of the football. beating Ohio State and spoiling things for the Buckeyes. Just about all the Wolverines have left. See if they can do it on ABC Saturday. Ole Miss here trying to knock Mississippi State out of bowl contention, and now the Bulldogs bobble the kickoff from the end zone and wisely taking the knee. It'll come out to the 25 as we go to Chris Cotter.
The ESPN AT&T All-America of the Week is Clint Shelf. 370 yards passing, 3 touchdowns in the Cowboys' win over Baylor last week. The Pokes now control their destiny in the Big 12 with Bedlam on tap next week. Cast your vote. Go to ESPNAllamerica.com. Reese?
Oklahoma State team is one that has steadily improved. They settled their quarterback situation after the loss to West Virginia. Now a great opportunity if they can handle business in Bedlam to go to a BCS game.
Especially if they can keep that balance on offense. That was the best that passing offense has looked all season long. Clint Shelf played out of his mind throwing the football deep downfield against Baylor.
Damian Williams firing one to the outside, and the Runya Wilson had it and somehow just had it fly out of bounds. It's incomplete.
Maria said they were going to open up the playbook. First play, true freshman quarterback comes out slinging, and I don't know if you can put it any more on the money. Hit him in a bad spot, right in the hands.
Oh, my goodness. He caught that so securely, I'm not even sure how he dropped it.
I think at some point this half, guys, Darunya Wilson or Joe Morrow, one of their taller receivers, is going to have to make a play. They have a huge height advantage outside with him at 6'5" against much shorter cornerbacks.
Williams buying some time, firing it, and it's as bobble as Darius Perkins went out of bounds. They're calling it incomplete. Sinquez Golson on the coverage. It appeared from my vantage point that was the proper call.
He's trying to work outside to his running back here, Perkins. Puts the football again where only his guy can make the catch.
Great call.
Yeah.
Perkins isn't one of the size matchups you were talking about on the outside.
No, he's not. And, you know, we talked about how Jamian Lewis and Malcolm Johnson are the best receivers for Mississippi State, but at some point outside, Mississippi State's going to have to take a shot deep downfield to one of their taller wide receivers you see there.
It's that time now. Williams dumps it out to Perkins. Perkins will have to try to get it himself, and he won't come close. He needed to get to the 35, and he doesn't quite make it to the 30.
Well, he's opened the playbook up. 3 plays, 3 throws for his true freshman. And
3 and out.
Yeah, and 3 and out. And those were good throws. They were all good decisions, just not executing. Put the punt team back on the field here. Give the football right back to Bo Wallace and an Ole Miss offense that just drove down the field on your D.
Well, and it started with the Runya, though, with the drop. I mean, that's what kills drives. When you start doing that stuff on first down, when you're supposed to move the sticks, it makes things easier. You get in a rhythm, and you can't do it with drops like that.
Devin Bell's back into punt. As Logan clears everybody away, it's a short punt. And Ole Miss is going to have tremendous field position almost at the 40-yard line. So the Rebels started out this season winning 3 straight, winning the thriller in the opening night against Vanderbilt, and then blowing out Texas, then got shut out by Alabama, lost the game in which they felt they did not play well against Auburn, and a heartbreaker to A&M. Beat LSU, then ranked 6th in the country, a game that Bo Wallace said had they not won, they might have gone in the tank. And then 3 red zone drives resulted in only 1 field goal against Missouri last week, and the Rebels came up a couple touchdowns short. And Treadwell, who for the most part played very well tonight, has dropped a couple too, including that one.
Well, I think Hugh Freeze's biggest disappointment this year is that his team hasn't played its best football in the biggest games and the biggest stages. They're 7-4. 4 of those losses have come against teams, all of them in the top 21, 3 of them against top 5 teams, but you just mentioned some of those losses, Reese. Alabama and Missouri last week. You compare them to Alabama and Florida State this year, who played great in their biggest games.
Mathers. Nope. 3rd and 10 coming.
And coming into this year, I think Ole Miss fans, they saw the recruiting, and it went way up, and the excitement went way up, and the belief went way up. But then you look at the schedule and you go, holy cow, you're not running that table. You're not going to make too much noise. But I think if you'd have told them they beat one of LSU, Alabama, or A&M, should have beat A&M, beat LSU, this program's still been going in the right direction.
Oh, there's no doubt about that. And they're still recruiting well as Wallace fires. Was that one picked or did it skip in? No, they're calling it incomplete. Vez Calhoun tried to catch the pass at Bo Wallace.
A few times tonight we've seen defensive coordinator Jeff Collins dial up an exotic pressure. Guys,
Whoa.
I don't know. I think that's a pick.
If so, that'll be the 4th one of the night.
Looks like Calhoun got both hands underneath this football and cradled it into his chest.
And the umpire's standing over the ball as the punt unit comes on. Let's see if they're going to have a stop play and have a look at it.
They missed one earlier. Remember the fumble on the 3rd and short.
Wow.
They'll get play stopped. Tough break for Mississippi State, it appears. Bulldogs have the ball back. And plenty of running room. And coming up and making the run is Brandon Holloway. There is a flag down. Jeff Collins giving Calhoun a hug. Probably telling him, Coach, I had that one.
During the return, holding number 31, return team. 10-yard penalty, 1st down, timeout.
So the hold is going to negate part of the good return and not having a chance at least to perhaps have an overturn on this near interception has really cost the Bulldogs some field position.
Truck, Ford F-150, and GoPro, the world's most versatile camera. GoPro, be a hero.